In the previous lecture, we were started with embryonic development. This embryonic development, it includes cleavage, blastulation, implantation and gastrulation. In the previous lecture, we have completed about the cleavage, blastulation and implantation. In this lecture, we are going to study about the process of gastrulation. If you remember, cleavage means simply a division, mitotic division. Because of that, number of cells goes on increasing, but there is no growth period in between, and that's why the size of zygote and size of morula remains same. This cleavage, it results into the formation of morula, and later on blastula formation takes place. That process of blastula formation is called as blastulation. Once the blastula is get formed, it is implanted deep into the wall of endometrium. That process is called as implantation, and later on the process of gastrulation starts. What is this gastrulation? What is the meaning of this word gastrulation? It is the process of formation of gastrula. From this word gastrulation, you can define it as the process of formation of gastrula from the blastocyst. In the gastrulation stage, there is a slow rate of cleavage. That means there will be a slow rate of division. But two important events takes place during gastrulation, and these two important events are differentiation of blastomers, and second one is the morphogenic movement. What is the meaning of differentiation of blastomers and what is the morphogenic movements? Remember that differentiation of blastomers means formation of three germ layers like ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. So we can say that this gastrulation means the process of gastrula formation, which results in formation of three germ layers like ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. That is called as differentiation of blastomers. And secondly, morphogenic movement. What is the meaning of this word morphogenic? Morphogenic means formation of forms. Okay, so there are different type of movement, and because of that cells reach to the definite place in the embryo. Okay, so this gastrulation involving two stages, differentiation of blastomers and secondly morphogenic movement. The points which you have to keep in your mind is gastrulation begins in the embryoblast cells on about 8th day after fertilization. Now, through the diagrams, we will see how the gastrulation takes place. Now see, we have this diagram for the understanding of this process of gastrulation. Simplified diagrams are this. In this diagram, what it shows, we will see the labelings first. This outer layer of the cells is called as trophoblast. On both the diagram, this one. This fluid filled cavity is called as blastocele, and these are the cells of inner cell mass. Here it is labeled as inner cell mass. So these cells, they start showing morphogenic movements. Okay, so what are these movements and what kind of cells are developed? We will see. See, cells on free end of inner cell mass are called hypoblast. So this, we will see that this is the inner cell mass. Inner cells, or we can say free end of inner cell mass. So which is the free end? This is the free end of inner cell mass. It is called as hypoblast. In the second diagram, you can see here, this is the inner cell mass. Here also these are the inner cell mass, and this free end of inner cell mass, these cells are called as hypoblast. which is also called as primitive endoderm. Okay, so this free end of inner cell mass becomes flattened, start dividing and grow downwards towards the blastocele, that is cavity of blastocyst. What is this actually complete sentence? These cells of hypoblast becomes flat. It is actually primitive endoderm, and these cells of primitive endoderm, they grow downward here and form a layer inner to this trophoblast. In this diagram it is clear. This is the hypoblast, and this hypoblast will form a cell layer inside again. Okay. So because of formation of this cell layer below, this cavities get formed, which is called as yolk sac. So what we have studied? This is the cells of inner cell mass. Its free end. This is the free end of inner cell mass. This cells becomes flattened, becomes primitive endoderm. It start growing downward here and form this second layer inner to this trophoblast, and that's why here cavities get formed, which is called as primary yolk sac. Primary yolk sac. This is the first event, that is the formation of endoderm. After the formation of endoderm, second event takes place, that is which is called as formation of ectoderm. For this we will see the remaining cells of inner cell mass. What is this here? This is the inner cells of inner cell mass. Free end of inner cell mass results in formation of what? Hypoblast, and again in the formation of yolk sac later on. So these remaining cells, these are the remaining cells of inner cell mass which are in contact with cells of Rauber. We have studied that the trophoblastic cells and these cells of the embryonal inner mass, this contact structure, the part which is in contact with each other, it is called as Rauber. This cells becomes epiblast. See, in the diagram it is shown that this becomes the epiblast. In general we can say that this inner layer forms the hypoblast and remaining cells becomes columnar and it forms the epiblast. This epiblast means the primary ectoderm. That's why we can say that here, you can see here this two layered structure is formed, which is called as bilayered structure, bi for two. Layer of epiblast and layer of hypoblast. This bilaminar embryonal disc is get formed. What happens in the further developmental stages? After the formation of endoderm, this is the endoderm and this is the layer of ectoderm. So endoderm and ectoderm is now differentiated here. These cells of epiblast divide and redivide and form a amniotic cavity. You can see here, this is the layer of epiblast. Cells divide and redivide, form, and this one more layer is get formed towards the upper side. That means this is the outer layer of trophoblast, and inner trophoblast one more layer is get formed, which is called as amniogenic cells. And this amniogenic cells encloses a cavity which is called as amniotic cavity. So what we have seen? Formation of this hypoblast, formation of epiblast, then formation of amniogenic cells and amniotic cavity, as well as we have seen formation of yolk sac before. Okay, now what to see here? The floor of this cavity has embryonal disc. Floor means what? This region. Here this disc-like structure is get formed, which is called as embryonal disc. So this is the embryonic ectoderm formed, and this rounded structure, if you see in the ball-like structure, it becomes the embryonal disc. And then the roof of amniotic cavity is lined by amniogenic cells. Here, this is the roof of amniotic cavity lined by amniogenic cells. And these cells, these amniogenic cells later on divide and redivide. That means undergoes mitotic division and form a layer which is called as amnion. This here, amnion develops from this, which is called as extra embryonic membrane. Extra embryonic means in addition to embryo, this membrane is get formed, and this membrane it surrounds and protect the embryos. Remember, amnion is formed from amniogenic cells. What is the function? To protect the embryo. So this bilaminar embryonal disc is positioned in between amniotic cavity and yolk sac. Which bilaminar structure? This one of the layer called as ectoderm, this is endoderm. So this structure becomes bilaminar structure. It is enclosed between what? Enclosed between this amniotic cavity and yolk sac. Then after about 15 days of the fertilization, actual gastrulation takes place, in which bilaminar embryonic disc is transformed into trilaminar embryonic disc. What's the meaning of trilaminar? Having 3 layers. Which 3 layers? Ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. So mesoderm formation means the formation of trilaminar structure, which is actually the end of gastrulation. How this third layer takes place? This third layer formation takes place by division, rearrangement and migration of cells of epiblast. Which one is the epiblast? This epiblast, which gives rise to the ectoderm. So what happens in this ectoderm? Ectodermal cells undergoes division, rearrangement and migration of cells, and because of that the third germ layer, which is called as mesoderm, is formed. So this involves formation of primitive streak and shallow groove on the surface, which is called as primitive groove. So in the another diagram we will see the formation of primitive streak and primitive groove. Now see this diagram. What is seen in this diagram? You can see embryonic ectoderm. This is the embryonic ectoderm, this complete one. And this yellow colored structure is for the embryonic endoderm. We have seen this 2 layered structure is formed, bilaminar structure is formed. Below this endoderm there is the yolk sac, and above the ectoderm there is amniotic cavity. So what happens in this layer here? This primitive groove is get formed, groove like structure. This primitive groove is formed in primitive streak region, and this is the beginning of this third layer formation, which is called as mesoderm. How it takes place now? See this streak, this primitive streak, it progresses from posterior to anterior end of the embryo, and from the site of primitive streak a third layer of cells called mesoderm extend between ectoderm and endoderm. You can see here these new cells are formed, which is called as mesoblast or the mesoderm. Where it is get formed? It is formed between this ectoderm and this endoderm, and hence it is called as mesoblast or the mesoderm. Remember that anterior end of primitive groove communicate with yolk sac by an aperture, which is called as blastopore, and blastopore results in formation of anus. Now you can see that this embryonal disc is differentiated into 3 layers: ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. See the diagram here. This part, this is the part of embryonal disc, consists of this outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and this innermost is called as endoderm. We can say that these 3 germ layers are formed, and with this 3 germ layer formation we can say that the process of gastrulation ends, and this gastrulation is followed by organogenesis. What's the meaning of word organogenesis? It is the process of organs formation, and this organ formation, we can also say that fate map of 3 germ layers. What's the meaning of fate map? Means the future of 3 germ layers, which gives rise to various organs of the body. So what we have studied in the process of gastrulation? We have seen that in the process of gastrulation, 3 germ layer formation takes place by differentiation of blastomas and morphogenic movements. This first diagram is the diagram of blastocyst having this trophoblast, and this inner cell mass. Here this free end of inner cell mass becomes hypoblast. Remaining cells forms epiblast. This hypoblast, towards the downside, it forms second germ layer and encloses this yolk sac. This is the yolk sac. Here this structure becomes bilaminar structure having two, ectoderm and endoderm, these two germ layers. Upper to ectoderm you can see formation of these amniogenic cells and amniotic cavity. Remember, from these amniogenic cells, amnion, one of the extra embryonic membranes get formed. Later on, in this region of ectoderm, one of the primitive streak is get formed with primitive groove, and because of that between ectoderm and endoderm, one more cell layer which is called as mesoderm is get formed. So this region is actually the embryonic region from where the embryo proper will develop. Once these three germ layers are get formed, these three germ layers undergoes the process of organogenesis, that is the process of organ formation. So now we will see the fate of three germ layers. So this is the chart for fate of three germ layers. See here, this ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm are the three germ layers formed, and these germ layers gives rise to specific structures, and that is called as fate of germ layers, that is future of germ layers. We will see here about ectoderm. What is the fate of ectoderm? This ectoderm, it gives rise to epidermis of skin, epidermal derivative like hair, nails, sweat glands. These epidermal derivatives, that means which develops from epidermis. So the structure, these epidermal derivatives are hair, nail and sweat glands. It also gives rise to external and internal ear and enamel of tooth. Then it gives rise to conjunctiva, cornea, lens and retina. These are the structure related with eye. It also gives rise to adrenal medulla and posterior pituitary. I think you remember adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla are the two parts. So adrenal medulla, it develops from ectoderm, and posterior pituitary, that is neurohypophysis of pituitary gland, it also develops from this ectoderm. Foregut and hindgut, part of the digestive system and entire nervous system develops from ectoderm. So you have to remember this all, what are the organs developing from the ectoderm. We will see about endoderm, the organs developing from endoderm. See, epithelium of midgut, foregut and midgut from ectoderm, midgut, its epithelium from endoderm. Glands of stomach and intestine, tongue, liver and pancreas. Then epithelium of lungs, trachea, bronchi, larynx, tonsils, organs of respiration. Epithelium of anterior pituitary, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, thymus and eustachian tube, it develops from endoderm. As well as epithelium of urethra, including associated glands, all these structures develop from endoderm here. Then the structures developing from mesoderm. Remember that all types of muscles, connective tissue, dermis of skin, adrenal cortex, circulatory system, this circulatory system including heart, blood vessels, blood, lymphatic vessels and middle ear with dentine of the tooth, all this develops from mesodermal region. See, if you are going to see some exceptional conditions, adrenal medulla developing from ectoderm, adrenal cortex developing from mesoderm, for nervous system developing from ectoderm, then connective tissue, all types of muscles developing from mesoderm. So this type of questions can be asked in MCQ, that is a particular structure will be given and it develops from which germ layer. In that way it can be asked in MCQs. So you have to learn this table by heart. Under this topic, the next part, which includes pregnancy and parturition, pregnancy, placenta and parturition, we are going to study in next lecture.